For today's video, we will tackle the new technologies used in aquaculture with the title, The Rules of New Technologies in Aquaculture. In this video, we'll explore how modern tools and innovation are helping farmers improve production, protect aquatic species, and make aquaculture more efficient and sustainable.
Aquaculture is rapidly advancing through new technologies that are revolutionizing aquatic organism cultivation. These tools improve productivity, sustainability, and efficiency, helping meet global seafood demand while reducing environmental impact. Automated system, precision feeding, water quality management, and advanced breeding are transforming traditional practices. Circulating aquaculture system, or RAS, an efficient and environmentally sustainable aquaculture technology that recycles water to advanced treatment processes, minimizing water consumption and environmental impact. Right now, we're looking at a recirculating aquaculture system, or RAS. Ito ay isang modernong setup ng fish farming na design para is-recycle at linisin yung tubig continuously. Sa halip na magpalit ng tubig araw-araw, ang system na ito ay nag-filter, nag-o-oxygenate at muling gumagamit ng parehong tubig, kaya mas sustainable at efficient. Dito, makikita natin ang main culture tanks kung saan pinalalaki ang mga isda, at yung constant water movement naman ay tumutulong para mataas ang oxygen levels na sobrang importante sa healthy na paglaki ng fish. Paglabas ng tubig mula sa tanks, napupunta ito sa filtration area. Itong mga blue barrels at pipes ay may iba't ibang function sa paglilinis ng tubig. So, sa unang stage, tinatanggal yung solid wastes gaya ng fish poop at leftover feeds. Ang pag-maintain ng malinis na tubig ay nakakaiwas sa harmful bacteria at toxins. Itong pipes at barrels na nakikita mo ay mechanical filters, kung saan sila yung nagtatrap ng dumi at particles na pwedeng mag-stress sa isda at magpabagal po ng growth nila. Kapag maaga pang natatanggal ang sulit, mas efficient gumagana ang buong system. And then, after nung mechanical filtration, pumapasok naman ang tubig sa biological filter. Dito, nakatira yung beneficial bacteria na nagko-convert ng toxic ammonia mula sa fish waste tungo sa mas safe na form. Dangerous ang ammonia kapag na-build up ng kasi isa ito sa pinaka-importanting party ng RAS. Yung continuous movement ng tubig, dito ang nagpapanatiling active ng bacteria. Kapag malinis na ulit ng tubig, bumabalik ito sa tanks para tuloy-tuloy ang circulation, oxygen at temperature stability. Malaki rin ang rules ng pumps sa RAS kasi para mapanatili yung constant flow. Kapag tumigil ang flow, mabilis mawawala ng oxygen ng mga isda kaya dapat lagi itong naka-on. So yung design ng tanks ay para iwas dead spots, yung mga parts na hindi gumagalaw ang tubig. Good circulation helps reduce stress at nagpapaganda ng feeding behavior. Mapapansin mo rin na ang strong aeration na nagbibigay ng oxygen sa tubig kaya active at healthy ang mga isda. Yung combination ng filtrations at aeration ang dahilan kung bakit very efficient ang RAS. Pagkatapos ng filtration, mas lumilinaw ang tubig. Kaya hindi ibig sabihin nun perfect na tubig kapag malinaw na ha. Pero saan ito na maayos ang takbo ng system. Goal ng RAS na panatilihin na malinis, walang amoy at stable na pH ang temperature. Nakakaiwas ito sa diseases at nagpapabilis ng consistent fish growth. So bawat pipe, valve at barrel ay may purpose. Lahat nagtutulungan para mabuo ang closed loop system kung saan reuse ng paulit-ulit ang system ng tubig kaya tipid waste at tipid resources. Doon sa final part ng video, makikita po natin ang iba pang tanks at dumadaloy na tubig. May mga RAS setups din na gumagamit ng UV sterilizers at degassing units para tanggalin ang dissolved waste at harmful microorganism. Good water movement at nagdi-distribute ng oxygen at nagtutulak ng dumi papunta sa drainage. Dahil controlled at stable ang environment, kaya pong magpalaki ng maraming isda kahit maliit lang ang space nito. Kapag tama ang monitoring ng oxygen, ammonia, temperature at pH, nagiging powerful at sustainable method ang RAS para sa mga modern aquaculture. Kaya kabuuan, ang ganitong sistema ay nakakatipid ng tubig, nagma-maximize ng space, nagpoprotekta sa isda at nagbibigay ng efficient at eco-friendly na production. Underwater drone, or also known as remotely operated vehicles or ROVs, are versatile tools used for exploring and working in underwater environments. In this video, makikita natin kung paano ginagamit ang isang underwater drone para i-monitor ang loob ng aquaculture fish cage. While the drone moves underwater, kita ng malinaw yung dami ng isda at kung paano sila kumikilos, making it easier to check if they're healthy and if their environment is still in good condition. Ang underwater drone ay nagbibigay ng mas modern, efficient, smart aquaculture sensors and advanced electronic devices designed to monitor critical water quality parameters in real time, such as temperature, dissolved oxygen, pH, salinity, and ammonia levels. These sensors enable fish farmers to optimize feeding, detect diseases early, and maintain ideal environmental conditions, leading to increased productivity, sustainability, and cost efficiency in aquaculture operations. Ipinapakita ang isang smart aquaculture water quality monitoring system na gumagamit ng IoT or Internet of Things technology para mas maging advanced, efficient at reliable ang fish farming. So this system is designed para ma-monitor ng farmers ang water conditions real time nang hindi na kailangan palaging magsagawa ng manual checking. Makikita natin dito ang iba't ibang sensors na nakasubmerged sa tubig. So these sensors measure critical parameters tulad ng temperature, pH level, dissolved oxygen, turbidity, at minsan pati ammonia or conductivity. Mga bagay na sobrang important para masigurong healthy ang mga isda. So instead of traditional testing na minsan delay at prone to human error, the system continuously and automatically gathers accurate data. So once makuha ng sensors ang readings, the information is collected by a microcontroller na may internet connectivity. Then from there, the data is transmitted real time papunta sa isang online platform or mobile application. So ibig sabihin, the farmer can easily check the life status of the pond water kahit nasa bahay lamang. So nasa ibang lugar or may ibang ginagawa. So this remote monitoring is very helpful lalo na kapag maraming ponds. Kapag naman may na-detect na abnormal reading like low dissolved oxygen, sudden temperature changes, or high acidity, the system automatically sends alert or notification. So this early warning capability allows the farmer to respond quickly tulad ng pag-activate ng aerators, pag-adjust ng feeding operation, o pagpapalit ng tubig. AI-powered fish health diagnostics. Artificial intelligence or AI is transforming fish health diagnostics aquaculture by enabling faster, accurate, and scalable disease detection and monitoring. This part of the video, pinapakita kung paano po ginagamit ang AI para mas maintindihan ang galaw at kondisyon ng mga isda sa loob ng aquaculture environment. Sa pamamagitan ng high-resolution cameras at machine learning algorithms, nakikita ng system ang bawat fish individually. Kaya nitong i-track ang movement nila, sukatin ang size, at kilalanin kung aling isda ang may kakaibang behavior or early signs of stress. Nakikita ng system kung ilan ang isda sa isang area, gaano kalaki ang bawat isa, at kung umiwas o nag-iiba ang galaw nila habang nagpi-feed. With this real-time monitoring, mas naiiwasan ang overfeeding which reduces space waste and improves growth efficiency. Bukod doon, kayang mag-detect ng AI ng external parasites, skin lesions, or abnormal patterns sa katawan ng isda. Kapag may nakita itong unusual marks or movement irregularities, automatically nire-report niya ito para mas maaga ma-address ng farmers ang problema. Ang goal ng technology na ito ay gawing mas sustainable, precise, automated ang aquaculture. Less manual work, less stress, at mas magandang welfare para sa buong population ng isda. Dito sa demo, makikita natin na habang lumalangoy ang mga isda, sinusundan sila ng AI gamit ang colored markers at ID tags. Ito ang ginagamit para malaman kung mabilis ba silang gumagalaw, normal ba ang swimming pattern, o may sudden changes na pwedeng indikasyon ng problema sa water quality o fish health. Pinapakita kung paano nagagamit ang data para mas maging accurate ang biomass estimation, feeding decisions, at welfare checks. Rapid Seeding Spool, an automated underwater device developed for seaweed aquaculture that significantly reduces in time, typically associated with manual seeding. Ang Rapid Seeding Spool is a helpful device used in modern aquaculture, lalo na sa seaweed farming. Its purpose is to make the deployment of long seeding lines faster and more organized. Pero at the same time, mas madaling gawin para sa mga farmers. Yung dating paraan, manual lang pong hinahatak at inilalatag ang mga lubid, which takes long time and often causes tangles or uneven spacing. Pero gamit ang Rapid Seeding Spool, nagiging mas smooth at mas maayos ang buong proseso. So, sa operation na to, very simple lang ang system. Because the entire seeding rope kasama ang mga seaweed seedlings ay iniikot muna at iniimbak sa spool. Kapag ready na for deployment, the farmer releases or retweets Adaptive Aquaculture Feed Monitor. This innovative system revolutionizes aquaculture feeding by dynamically adjusting feed delivery based on real-time data. The monitor uses sensors to track key parameters such as feeding, behavior, water quality, and environmental conditions. This data is then to optimize feed quantity and timing, ensuring fish receive the precise nutrition they need. So, in this video, makikita natin ang Mari Feeder or isang modernong automatic fish feeder na ginagamit sa aquaculture. Ang purpose nito ay gawing mas consistent, efficient at hassle-free ang pagpapakain isda. So instead of manually feeding the fish every day, the Mari Feeder allows farmers to set the feeding schedule, adjust the feed amount at i-control ang timing. Dahil automated siya, nakakatulong ito na maiwasan ang overfeeding or underfeeding, which is important para sa healthy fish growth. The system also helps reduce labor costs because hindi mo na kailangan bantayan ang feeding all the time. Plus, it improves feeding accuracy, meaning mas pantay ang distribution ng feed sa isda.
Genetic improvement and selective breeding for disease resistant growth rate and environmental tolerance in aqua species, including strategy for resist to climate change. This section will highlight the so what by explaining how these genetic improvements contribute to increase productivity, reduce resources use, and enhance sustainability aquaculture operation. Dito naman po, ang paraan na ito ay gumagamit ng siyensya para mapili at maparami ang mga aquaculture species na mas lumalaban sa sakit, mas mabilis lumaki at mas nakakatanggal sa iba't ibang kondisyon ng kapaligiran pati na sa pagbabago ng klima.
Selective breeding or artificial selection. Fish is one of the most important sources of protein in the world. To have a sustainable fish source, aquaculture or fish farming were introduced. Culturing a good breed of fish is the key. One of the best breeding methods is selective breeding. Major improvement can be achieved by selecting breeding within a few generations. Besides, this breeding method can even be practiced by small-medium enterprise or large companies, as it is easy and affordable. It is also natural and proof. So, what is selective breeding? I will give you an example. In Singapore, there is a selective breeding program for Asian sea bass by Temasek Life Sciences Laboratory, Singapore Food Agency and NRF. In this program, they choose 4 good quality breeds of sea bass, which are from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore. These 4 sea basses will crossbreed to get even more offspring. Then, a few good traits were chosen to be bred again and again until they reach the desired quality of sea bass. The scientists were using quantitative method, which is by testing their DNA, which are their growth rate, resistance to a disease, and omega-3 content. As a result of this research, a new genetically superior breed of barramundi called St. John sea bass were produced. As stated by the researchers and in Allegro Aqua website, the St. John sea bass are more disease resistant, improved productivity, higher fillet and better taste, besides lower feed conversion ratio. These were also stated by Fish Books that the advantage of selective breeding in aquaculture are improving health, production and feed efficiency. In short, selective breeding gives a lot of benefits toward aquaculture sector as everyone will get positive impacts, especially for the farmer and industry. Besides increase in profit, it will also help to increase in food security with sustainable fish farming. Thanks for watching.
Integrated multipodic aquaculture. These ecological benefits such as nutrient recycling and waste reduction and their potential for diversified revenue stream. The so what they will focus on how IMTA system create more environmentally sound and economical robust aquaculture operation. Dito naman po, isang sistema kung saan iba't ibang species, halimbawa isda, shellfish, seaweed, ang hinahalagaan magkakasama sa isang lugar. Solar-powered aquaculture system. It is ruled in reducing carbon footprint, energy costs, and promoting energy independence. This section will address the so what by demonstrating the economic and environmental advantage of transitioning to renewable energy source in aquaculture. Dito naman po, paggamit ng solar energy para paganahin ang mga kagamitan sa farm sa halip na umasa sa tradisyonal na kuryente. 3D ocean farming.
I'm Andrew Grant. Welcome to Melbourne Barra. We're a 50-tonne barramundi farm. I'm many hats, director, employee, driver, you name it. I've started it from scratch. We had nothing here. It's just a flat paddock. We've had to put in fences, infrastructure, three-phase power, water, everything. So it's been a journey. 2001, I bought the property. We have 9 different species here. Barramundi, Murray cod, abalone, lobsters, and the crabs. They're all basic staples in the live seafood industry. Our customers absolutely dictate what we provide here. The barramundi was the first thing we provided, and it's all about the barramundi farm here. But we supply other species because the customers want it. They want a one-stop shop, so rather than bringing several different suppliers for several different species, we provide those other species for them. I get a lot of personal joy from producing a premium product and getting it into the restaurants and getting feedback from their customers on how wonderful and fresh the product is, and it's experience that not many people get to enjoy these days. Most of our products are frozen, thawed, so to go from literally swimming that morning to on your plate in the afternoon, and the freshness cannot be beat. It's just such a unique flavour and taste. Most of my customers are price driven, and if I can offer them a cost-effective product and it just so happens to be clean and green, then why not do it? It just makes a lot of sense to me. I'm very keen to sort of leave the land better than we found it. Obviously, having a young daughter and so forth, I also want to do something for the planet, as such. So, as part of the process here, I've also, put up native vegetation, trying to do some carbon capture. We've got some fantastic native trees around the place, but to follow that through, I really had to cut back on energy costs. And I had a number of companies approach me that you guys were actually concerned about the business and working with the business and asking me the questions about how can you complement and work within the business. And so one of the biggest things here is that we're 24/7 operation, and you guys were more than willing to work in with our hours and not upset the process of growing the fish. The fish didn't miss a beat. It was great. You guys met the cost, the best price I had, but it wasn't just about the cost, it was about the service as well. Power is absolutely essential to the business. I cannot lose it for more than 20 minutes without, devastating results. We're a remote sort of site here, and we get a lot of hoons coming down, hitting power poles, and even stealing cars and setting them on fire next to the power poles. So we do have a lot of outages, and they can be for 3, 4, even 5, 6 days. So the generator we rely on quite heavily. We only have a 20-minute window here with losing the power. Otherwise the fish will all suffocate and we lose a lot. Once I saw the installation working, and I was very impressed with the layout, the way it was put in, the efficiency in which it was done, the minimal impact on the business. It was all great, and then when I saw that thing humming away and realised my bill was coming down, what's not to like?
Discussing this potential for hybrid, low-impact seafood and seaweed production in open sea environment, the SOWAT will emphasize is its contribution to food security, ecosystem restoration, and space utilization. Dito naman po, isang makabagong paraan ng pag-aalaga ng seafood at seaweed sa mga nakakalutang na istruktura sa open sea na sumasakop sa iba't ibang ilalim ng dagat.
my name is Bren Smith. I'm Executive Director of Greenwave. I was born and raised in Newfoundland, Canada, and I dropped out of high school when I was 14 and headed out to sea. I fished the globe. It was at the height of industrial fishing. It was clear to us that it wasn't sustainable, so I went on this search for sustainability. So I'm a 3D ocean farmer, and what you should do is imagine an underwater garden. We've got floating long lines, and from there we grow our mussels, our scallops, and our seaweeds, and then below that we've got cages where we have our oysters and clams. Our crops require 0 inputs to grow, so that means no fresh water, no fertilizer, no feed. Growing cattle and pigs on land is incredibly resource intense. It takes water, tons of feed, but what we're farming requires so few resources. We don't have to feed our sea vegetables. We don't have to feed our shellfish. They're just eating what's in the water, filtering what's in the water. And so using this entire vertical column, we're able to grow huge amounts of food in small areas. So all along our coastlines, we can have these little small farms dotting the coastline and producing incredible amounts of food. But it's not going to ruin our oceans. And once you get over the embarrassment of growing vegetables, it's beautiful stuff. You know, like, I'm actually proud of this. The chefs are loving this whole leaf. We love kelp because of how fast it grows and what season we're able to grow it in.
We found kelp.
Kelp spores start appearing in around September, and you'll see that in the leaves you'll see these chocolate stripes, and that means the kelp is reproductive. So we go out and get 2 or 3 pieces. We take those pieces of kelp with the sporous tissue and we put it into the tanks with a piece of PVC, like a plastic pipe, and there's string wrapped around that piece of plastic pipe, and the spores, the little kelp spores, attached to that string. And then by November, they're big enough for us to put them out on the farm. The first 3 months, it just grows little by little. And then as soon as you hit January, it starts growing so fast. And it'll be these huge 15-foot leaves by the time we harvest. One of our most popular dishes is kelp noodles.
We're making a kelp fra diavolo.
This is what you can do at home if you're like me and you don't know how to cook. Oh! It's all right, I got a red shirt on. Imagine like a 6-foot noodle that's bright green, and then we serve it not as seafood, but as a vegetable. I mean, it's delicious, and it's not what you think in terms of seafood. These ocean plants are vegetables, and so when we approach them like that, that's where the seafood plate becomes delicious. Oh, it was yummy.
Yeah, really good. Got a long noodle there, huh?
We want to set into the wind from here out, I think. This goes to the anchor line. That goes to the kelp line. Beautiful. So the crops we grow are these agents of sustainability. Our oysters filter up to 50 gallons of water a day, pulling nitrogen out of the water column. And too much nitrogen is one of the causes of the dead zones that are spreading throughout our globe. Our kelp soaks up 5 times more carbon than land-based plants. We're climate farmers, helping restore our seas, mitigate climate change, while also growing good, delicious, beautiful food. These are our mussel socks. The whole idea is to do polyculture and grow as many different species out on our farms. I love being an ocean farmer. It's such an interesting way to make a living, to have a small business, and really create a future for my kids too. But it's not easy. I'm out there all winter, you know, in 20-degree weather, breaking ice with sledgehammers. I mean, my body is sore at the end of the day, and my hands are kind of like the claws of a lobster. Right? But it is something that really drives me. It's why I wake up every morning. I want to die one day on the sea, right? I want to sink with my boat, and that'll be success. Because I came at this 30 years ago asking the question, how do I spend my life on the ocean? How do I spend my life with a boat, feeding people? And that's where I get my meaning.